Just one more time trying this live. One more time trying this live. One more time. Yes, Anela, I won't be discouraged. I will not be discouraged. Let's see. Yo, can you see me? One more time. One more time. But thank you so much for joining us today. If you feel that anything I have not mentioned and you feel it's important for me to mention, please do it now and say hello to everyone who's watching.
Yeah, well, hello to everyone. I'm still tall, slender, and struggling to gain some cover. But yeah, life goes on. Life struggles.
The reason I called you here today, like I've been thinking, because I've been having a request of saying, you've spoken about bachelorettes and you've spoken about as much as you can, or challenges facing women and all of these things. Can you get somebody to speak about being a bachelor?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, and then I was like, but how could I forget? How could I forget? There is somebody who's perfect for this, and that's the reason I called you today. Yeah. And I want to start it by saying this. As a bachelorette, we also have, I get questions. So I'm not talking about other people who are out there who you know, I'm just guessing. I get questions like, when are you getting married? When are you having kids? All of these things. Actually, these are the two main questions. So to start off with this, I just want to know, do you get those questions? Or if you don't, do you get similar questions? Or what other questions do you get as a bachelor? And for that matter, a reverend? Which I'm thinking you have Mamuruti or something like that. So,
of course.
Exactly. So I don't know. I really want to know. Do you face the same things? How do do you face them, and what are they?
Yeah. Well, before I respond, I think it is important to condemn the tragic killing of Miss Pule. Under these circumstances, it's still said that we as men still perpetrate so much violence against women, and it cannot be acceptable. It cannot be condoned. So as a man, I want to say to women out there, the family of Miss Pule, we are sorry. Things like this must not happen.
Yeah.
Back to your question. Yeah, I do get a lot of those questions. Firstly, from family, from friends, from strangers. Well, of course, the work that I do, I work with people, ministering to people, and obviously they are expecting also that I'll come with a Mamuruti or I'll get married. Why are you single? Why is Muruti single? And all that jargon, and then so on. So I always tell them that I'll probably not make a good husband or a good father. So as of if, give me some time to really grow and be matured and stuff like that. Because obviously, one has made a lot of mistakes growing up, not having mentors, not having people to look up to. You get into relationships, you think you love the wrong way, or you behave in a particular way, and it becomes two personalities that are contradicting each other. So at the end of the day, you get lost into that space and even lose your identity. So a lot of people, because of the social understanding and social, the way we do things socially, there will be that stigma that since when you are a reverend, you must have a Mamuruti, And of course, a particular Mamruti must look a particular way, behave a particular way, talk a certain way, and then look a certain way, and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I'm a rebel. I don't go with the norms. You see, so whatever that I must look like or the Mamruti must look like is totally the opposite of what I believe in, and so on. So I remember a year or so ago, we were sitting around in a family gathering, and the uncles called me aside, about 15 of them. And it was a case of a conversation of about 3 hours. Why am I not getting married? What kind of a minister is not getting married? And so and I said, in the first place, I'm a minister. I don't make money. I don't earn a lot. So I won't be able to take care of anyone that I will commit to. Secondly, I'm not emotionally ready for marriage and family. It's a bit overwhelming. And thirdly, it's none of their business.
Like the last one. But I think I admire the self-awareness you have and what you're saying these are the reasons I don't want to get married. Or because I was about to ask you, do you feel that pressure though of getting married, with them calling you to the side, with people asking, when you are alone or in your own time, when you think, do you feel the pressure in some way?
Look, let's start here. I have a very small family. It's me, my mother, and my brother. My brother lives somewhere. My mother is at home. I'm at work. So our connection, we are always separated. So I don't have anyone close to me that I would say is my confidant that I speak to, that when you come back with the stresses of I also live alone. So at times, yes, it does get lonely. There would be that space, that void, that say, well, maybe one must have a partner. But I've not felt, I've built a wall, or I've not felt the family pressure or the societal pressure, because even at church, when I go to a new church, that's the first thing that I talk about, to say, please, when it comes to marriage, don't even open your mouth directing that to me. I'm here to do what I need to do. For me, marriage is not priority right now. So give me space. Feel that much of a pressure from people. It might be a self-inflicted pressure, given the environment and then the space. Yeah.
Oh, actually, you answered my other question, which was the reason you have remained unmarried, or is there anything that you would like to add on to that, based on the reasons you obviously told your uncles, which was and somebody said 3 hours is too long to be listening to your uncles. So I don't know, somebody, the religious.
Yeah.
3 hours, no, it's too long to have a conversation like that with them. Because a lot of us feel, or some of the reasons, because one of my favorite questions, I think, for me personally, to ask anyone who's married is like, why did you get married? I feel that's the reason behind that in some sort of way will help you. There's some sort of sustenance to that marriage, or sort of a deeper grounding of why you wanted to get married. I love asking that question, not that one person's reason is stronger than the other or better than the other, just to understand. Because and some of the reasons I've heard, unfortunately, is that my time was up, and I wanted children. That would be the reason. And it's a reason. There's different reasons for different people. I can't be the judge of that. I chose, and I'm here, and I'm not married for my reasons as well. And it has been, I think mostly on what you were saying, to say, I need to understand more about it. I need to understand the reason for it, or is it for me even to begin with? You know, it's something that I feel I'm spiritually or emotionally matured enough to handle. And I'm saying, you know what's going to happen, but those are the kind of challenges that I face. If because I wanted to ask, that's the thing I'm saying, that you have actually answered that. And because I'm asking, would you consider getting married, or is it something that do you think it's something that you are going to do, or not going to do, or it's not part of what you want to do?
Look, firstly, on the reasons of getting, I think I've been on that journey for the longest time. Obviously, when you start dating someone, I would normally have that to say I'm dating for marriage. And then it doesn't work out, one has to move on, emotions were attached, have to be detached, and all those things, and then so on. And secondly, we live in a space where inequality and equality is confusing a lot of people, because equality means that we understand each other from a particular level, as much as we might be different and all those kind of things. So as men also, there's been that that difficulty of having to live and to deal with women who are strong, independent, and all that. And I've always said that I do not want to get married and have a situation where someone else lives according to my identity. I would want my partner also to be themselves.
That you're saying that live according to your identity, and for you specifically in the space that you are at, saying that people are expecting a Mamuruti to behave a certain way, or you, for example, to behave a certain way.
I mean, at the end of the day, those stigmas and stuff like that it's one thing that I've been challenging and saying. If I were to have someone right now, I would not want them to be confined to my space. I'd still want them to be themselves, to have their own wings, to continue their ambitions and all those kind of things and so on. So I do not want a marriage that will seem like an oppression, will seem like an institution that casts dreams, that limits a partner and all those kind of things. I think from our diversity and our differences, then we can make a team. But the confusing thing about marriage has been, I marry you for you to confine into my standards, into my into my thinking, into how I do things, and my family, and all those things, and all those things, and so on. So it has been my struggle to really say, do I really understand the institution of marriage? Will I really cope with having someone that is open-minded, that is independent, that is liberal, that is as outspoken as me, and all those kind of things? So will I be able to live with a person like that for longer terms? Maybe in a short term, we can be able to challenge each other and all those kind of things. In a longer term, will I be able to do that? In a case where, because I believe that women these days have got their own careers, have got their own paths and all those kind of things. So if I get married to someone right now, then they have to work in Cape Town, or they have to work in America, or their space really dictate that they move around also, and all those kind of things. Given the conventional standards of marriage, where it's a unit where you live together, you raise children together, all those kind of things, you see. Will the families, will the person understand that I don't mind to be left behind with children? I don't mind to raise children while you are pursuing your dreams, your career, and those kind of things, and so on. So in many cases, you find that as much as you might want to commit, but you are in different spaces, different levels of understanding with the next person. And not only with the next person, you still have to reteach people. still have to fight these battles with your family, with all those kind of things. I've seen questions being asked: would you marry someone that has a child? Of course, children didn't ask to be brought on earth. Would you marry someone who has 5 children? Of course, why not? At the end of the day, so for me, those are non-starters. They shouldn't be even on the table. The fact that a person has children or not, or whatever the case might be, or is divorcee or not, and all those kind of things. But also, one thing that I've observed is that men in general, they marry their mother. You marry someone that has qualities of your mother. And women in general,
I hear that as well, but in which sort of qualities would be sort of like, make an example of motherly, or looking for somebody who's like their mother, or end up marrying somebody who is like their mother? And is it even healthy to go that route? Or which part of it should you draw the line of marrying somebody who's like your mother?
Well, one of the struggles that I've been having over the years is that my mom is someone who's very active, even if I lay spetlele, I got to akoropa, and stuff like that. That's how active she is. So because you don't want conflicts between your partner and your mother, you'd want someone that will have similar qualities, that will get along, that will click easily, and so on. Because our parents, they judge our partners based on and stuff like that, and so on. But I realize that, but I'm limiting myself. If then I'm going to look for such qualities, I must look for someone that I'm connecting with, that I'm in love with, and so on and so on and so on. And the rest will be learned, the rest will go along, and stuff like that, and so on. And fortunately, I have a mother who's not necessarily judgmental, so I think she will accept whoever that I will bring. But those are some of the things that have been delaying, and the likes. And where you draw the line, of course, it's at a case where you say, now I'm in love with this person, I want to start a life with this person, and all that. The family comes and stops here. She comes and take over here, and all those things. It's overlapping kind of roles. But at the end of the day, I've recently since accepted the fact that I will not be able to marry someone or find someone who's exactly like my mother. Otherwise, if I do that, I will be single forever. Of course. And of course, yes, one day, maybe sooner, maybe later, one will commit. Because at the end of the day, you'll want to settle down. My reason for settling down is the fact that the life that I have is worth sharing. The happiness that I have is worth sharing. I'm not looking for someone to make me happy. I'm already happy. I'm happy. That kind of thing. The only thing that I can't share right now is money, because I'm not married. Maybe that's another reason why I'm not yet married. But at the end of the day, when we come together as people, there will be something that you want to share, that you want to give, and stuff like that. And at the present moment, happiness is galore, love is galore. It's one thing that
obviously the person. So I'm going to put you on the spot, as you know, let's come on a show of The Bachelor now. So what sort of qualities would convince you, or to in a woman, to say, you know what, this is the one this is the one I see, you know, settling down with. This is the one I see building my life with. This is the one for me. What sorts of qualities, you know, I mean, it doesn't have to be all, because like you're saying, we learn, we grow. but what sort of like are the basic qualities for you, the strong or the important qualities for you that that person should have, you think?
For me, I'm a peace lover. More than anything, I hate drama, I hate chaos and stuff like that, you see.
Yeah.
So, at the center of everything, one of the main qualities should just be joy and happiness, and then gentleness, and then stuff like that. And then secondly, a person who's grounded. You might know yourself at that moment, but at least the keenness to want to know more about yourself, about the world, about the space you live in, and all those kind of things. I'm one creative mind. I'm one ambitious person. I'm one person who will not let you sleep when there is something to be done, and so on. So, so a self starter, a person that can do things and make things work for that matter. And then one of the questions that I've always asked women is that if I were to choose to be a house husband, would you accept that? And obviously, 100% is a no. We want someone who will go out there and hustle. But the dynamics have changed. If we want to commit into this thing, we also need to understand that you get house husbands now. Someone will say, I choose to remain behind with the children. I'm more connected to children. I want to raise the children, and then stuff like that. Or someone that says, I want
to stop you there, especially with those role things. What I know you speak to people a lot and you see people. Okay, what is your opinion on that specifically? Because you touched on it to say, you know what, and I talk about it also be compatibility between two people, you know, where one can do the other and the other one cannot do the other thing. What is your thought around the whole role thing that we have made as society, which I feel sometimes we are sort of putting people in boxes or setting people up for failure for stuff they cannot even do, all in the name of saying a woman must be like this, or a man must be like this. A man is capable of doing this, you know. If you can't fix a car, you're not man enough. If you can't cook, you're not woman enough. What do you think about those roles in that? Because you are looking, obviously. So what is your thought of that?
Look, at the end of the day, I think roles are limiting. Because if you say you want a life partner, then there shouldn't be any dictated roles. I think. Look, I love cooking. I don't mind cooking, even if I come across someone who doesn't cook. You see, I enjoy my time in the kitchen and stuff like that, or I can do anything. I mean, I was raised, we don't have any sisters at home, so I can do anything in the house, outside the house, and those kind of things and so on. So for me, it doesn't matter. If I have to change a child's nappy, I can do that. If I have to organize a water bottle. So the roles for me really don't matter, because I think we can achieve more without really dictating roles and all those kind of things. But if we put roles and stuff like that, it's one of the things that start conflicts, that cause conflicts. You didn't do this, you're supposed to do this, you are not taking a good care of my children, and those kind of things and so on. But it's if roles are fluid, you just wake up, do a breakfast, or you bath the children, or whatever the case might be, it becomes fun in the house, because you So you wake up and do what needs to be done, and I think that's more exciting for me.
So for me, the last one for me, what have been the advantages? Because I think you touched a bit on disadvantages, but if there's more, what has been the advantages of being unmarried, of being a bachelor?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I don't fight for.
I would like to know. I mean, I've got advantages, so I would like to know what are bachelor's advantages right now, or for you, what have been the advantages as a bachelor?
Firstly, I don't fight for a remote. I can watch whatever I want on TV. And then secondly, I think a peace of mind. By peace of mind, I mean times when you can think, times when you can have your own space, times when you can just be alone and those kind of things. Where you don't consult, where you have freedom to do this or that, and so on. That has been advantages. But I don't mean that that is the ultimate. If one has to be committed right now, obviously one will play their part in that partnership and those kind of things. Then. And I'm more happier. Like I'm gaining weight, Baggage. You know.
Are you gaining weight?
So wait. So one of the things that my uncle said to me is that why do you fear something that you have never been into? You don't know anything about marriage, so why do you say you don't want to get married because you won't be happy? How do you know that married people are not happy and those kind of things and so on? So, so I was challenged like that. So, yeah, there are the advantages, and I think it's those advantages that I will be willing to share with my partner. Once I get married, because I know how to be happy, I know how to do things, I know how to be alone, and I know how to be lonely and those kind of things. So it's things that you bring and you share in the space of marriage.
How important? Just the last one. How important? Because you talk about you know how to be alone, and I know how it is for me, and how the advantages of that specifically. Because there's a lot of introspection that happens, and learning to be alone for me has become extremely important, because then in some sort of way, I try not to be, but in some sort of way you learn not to be a nag, or you learn how to use your time. If the person you're supposed to be with is not there, you learn how important is that, and what can you advise someone who wants to learn how to do that, on what to do or how to even go about it?
Look, I'm one person who can go to a movie alone, who can go and to dinner alone, and those kind of things. I enjoy my company. I enjoy my space. But the disadvantage with that is that enjoying your company and your space and so on, you end up shutting people. Even when that time comes where, for an example, you have to go on date and stuff like that. Yeah, you can make commitments but when the day comes, nah, I won't do that. And so on. So at the end of the day, I think people must learn to love themselves. They must learn to enjoy their space. I'm one person who never gets bored. I don't understand the concept of being bored and the likes. So, and I do not need someone to take the bottom away. If I get bored, I'll find something to do so that I enjoy my time and my space and all those kind of things and so on. Yes, someone asked what is the difference between alone and being lonely. I think being lonely has to do with emotions, where you are longing for certain things, for company, for touch, for all those things. But alone is when you are within your space and the likes. One of the things is that I also got a motorbike, so if I feel like I'm gonna be
You're right. You're right. I like you.
yeah, if I feel like I am gonna be lonely or alone, I can get on a motorbike and ride and come back, and I'll be fine, and then stuff like that. So, so it's not the end of the world to be alone, and the likes. And but the life also of a minister is a life of a person who a lot of people will want to see, congregants and the likes and the likes. But I also create boundaries to say, if you want to see me, you must tell me or make an appointment and those kind of things, so that there's no traffic, so that I don't end up losing myself also. Because I must have my time, I must have my space, I must have that thinking moment, and reflection moment, and those kind of things. I think also that is important, even if you are married or in a relationship, that you be alone at certain times, away from each other, doing different things and so on, so that when you come back, you come back recharged and re-energized and all those kind of things. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Is there one last thing you would like to say?
It was about time. I hope that this is not the last time. As I heard that you say it's the second last series. We need season two. Season two or something.
Oh,
But one last thing that
think about that. We'll probably will create a platform. We will do that. We will do that.
But just one last thing quickly is that in many cases, as people, we meet, we enjoy time and space. One of the things that I've always said to people is that the person that you say you're committed to, when love ends, is it the person that will still enjoy their company? Is it the person that will still tolerate? Is it the person that will still be able to talk with and all those kind of things? Because love fluctuates. Today you feel it, tomorrow you don't feel it, and all those kind of things. And and I think that has been one thing that breaks marriages, because we then invest a lot in emotions, and we leave rationale outside. And when you don't feel the emotions, you want to feed those emotions somewhere else. And when you try to feed those emotions somewhere else, then that's where you'll get cheating and those kind of things and so on. Which are things that are necessary, and the things like those, they will lead to divorce, and divorce does not only affect the immediate family. For an example, as a friend of someone that is married, once people divorce, for an example, my friends could have been friends with my wife. If I divorce now, how then do they relate to the person? Do they still continue talking to the person? And those kind of things. Children had friends, had uncles and aunts and all those kind of things. What happens when divorce? So it affects a large circle of people and those kind of things. So I would also want to say, when we do it, because there's no second chance, maybe let's try to do it right the first time. And lastly, I think we must not rush to get married when we are still very young, because we don't know ourselves. By the time we find ourselves and we know ourselves, that's when then we realize that those that we have been married to are not those that would have wanted to. And you find that people are sitting in abusive relationships, are sitting for the sake of children. They can't get out, those kind of things, because we got into this thing at an early stage. They say life begins at 40. I'm not 40 yet. Maybe at 40, that's when I'll start thinking seriously about marriage.
Well, thank you so much, Mevan. Thank you so much. This has been insightful for me, and I think the reason a voice of a bachelor has to be out there as well. It's not to be not even not felt left out, but I think maybe a man will receive the information better when it's from another man or when it's from someone like him. Or, you know, I feel that way about it. So, but thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we will chat about second season 2 of this.
Of course. Thank you so much. Eh?
Take care of yourself.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone who joined us. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys for being here today. That was Mevan Buthelezi. You can find him on social media platforms and Facebook. He's quite active. He is on Instagram as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will see you on the 23rd of June. Take care.